Hey guys, what's up? This is the Shadow231 and today I'm going to be reviewing a video done by Marvelous Anime. And the video title is How Guts versus the Sea God Proves That Guts Can Kill the God Hand, right? And I'm going to do it like this. Not exactly live, but I'm just showing you the channel's information. Please make sure to check out the original video. So I have watched literally 20 minutes of this video, and I'm at the last few moments of video where it gets to the part where he starts talking about the reason why how Guts versus the Sea God proves that Guts can kill the God Hand, right? So I haven't watched this part yet. I've literally watched through what you're seeing here on the video. I have not watched the last half, so I want to do this live. Well, this is not live, but as live as it can be, right? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play it. You guys tell me what you think, okay? And I'll let you know what I think about everything he's saying in this video. Let's do it.
Success against the God Hand. Why Guts killing the Sea God proves he can handle the God Hand.
Alright, here we go.
From an astral standpoint, the Sea God can be equated with the God Hand for a number of reasons, but the main one we want to discuss here is the fact that Guts' brand reacts to it in a similar fashion to how it reacts to the God Hand. In chapter 318, as soon as Guts gets close to the mouth of the Sea God's cave, his brand starts gushing blood. He doesn't feel the pain that comes with it thanks to the Berserker armor, but the way that it just doesn't stop running like a geyser is very reminiscent of what happens whenever Guts or Casca come close to a God Hand member. Like we mentioned at the beginning of this video, the brand reacts to the concentration of evil within a person, and the Sea God was plenty evil based on what we saw from it in its short time in the series. Moreover, its appearance and powers are very similar to another character from the series that appeared not long before it, that being Ganishka's Shiva form. If you guys have seen our video on Ganishka's Shiva form, or the video we did on Guts' battle with Ganishka, you will know our opinion on whether the Black Swordsman could have taken it down or not. A lot of that boils down to the fact that he defeated the Sea God, and the Sea God is likely the same size as Ganishka, if not even bigger. The guy's head was the size of a hill above the surface of water, and when he moved, he didn't swim, he walked. This means that the Sea God's feet were likely planted on the ocean floor, and we're not mistaking the shelf for the floor here, guys. There's another similarity between the Dread Emperor's Shiva form and the Sea God, which is their ability to turn those they've come into contact with into their thralls. The Sea God does this by devouring his targets and assimilating them into his whiskers, while Shiva accomplishes it by stepping on living humans, killing them, and then transforming their remains into pseudo-apostles that look like him. Their storyline emergence is reversed in the sense that Shiva brought about the end of the world of reason, while the Sea God emerged because of it, but put side by side, their powers and the scope of their abilities would line up pretty well. So, if Guts managed to kill the Sea God, he should have also been able to take care of Ganishka with the help of his crew. Sure, entering the mouth of a fire-breathing demon was far more difficult than entering the mouth of a creature that wanted to eat you, but you get our point. And if you still don't get how all of this relates to the God Hand, then all you have to do is follow the Sea God fight from the moment Guts enters its heart chamber. Because it's the Sea God's heart that, in our opinion, foreshadows how Berserk is going to end, with Guts running Dragon Slayer through the idea of evil. The Sea God's heart is a carbon copy of the form we see the idea of evil take at the end of chapter 82. That still of Griffith arriving in front of a gigantic human heart with eyes all over it is one that will never leave our minds. So you can imagine how shocked we were when we saw Miura repeat the same design for the Sea God's heart. Now, obviously, this could be coincidence as well, but Miura wasn't the kind of writer who would have things happen in this series just for the sake of it, unless he was writing dialogue for pucklers. He deliberately showed us Guts taking down a monster as big as Shiva to tell us that had he been at ground zero for the Great Roar, things could have played out differently. Instead of Skull Knight's sword, which was fated to bring causality to fruition, it would be Dragon Slayer cutting into Ganishka's flesh until all the evil flooded out of it. Miura had the habit of making callbacks to earlier events in a brand new setting so that the psychological effects compound on his characters. And nowhere was this clearer than the Incarnation Ceremony, which was a combination of everything that had come before it. Ganishka's Shiva form wasn't at the level of the God Hand in terms of power, but it got pretty close and now serves as the battery for the world's state of Fantasia. So yes, while it would likely be more difficult for him to kill Shiva Ganishka, Guts could still accomplish it with his supporters. And this is how we know that he's ready to handle the God God Hand. He just needs to step out of their story entirely. Now that the astral and physical worlds are overlapping, it isn't too much of a stretch to think that Griffith might try to bring the idea of evil into the mix. And one of the ways in which he could do that is by conducting a massive ritual to create an entity large and powerful enough to receive the idea as its heart. Because everything now has a physical form in Berserk, it's not an exaggeration to think that this megalithic entity would have a body of flesh. And if that does end up being the case, it's game over for the bad guys. Guts has proven time and again that no physical barrier can stop him from achieving his goals, and that goes for astral entities as well. The reason he keeps coming up short against Griffith is because he's still being controlled.
Okay, alright. I'm sorry, I have to say something. So, a couple things. I get where he's coming from, comparing Ganeshka or Emperor Ganeshka to the sea god in terms of the apostle forms and, everything like that. But me personally, I kind of disagree with what he's saying, and I'll let his stuff finish. But from just listening to what he's saying here, I totally disagree, and I'll tell you why in the end.
By the latter's story. Though he doesn't want to admit it, much of Guts' life since he joined the Falcons has been guided by Griffith's words and actions. Had he not gotten it into his head to become the Falcons' equal, all of this could have been avoided. But at the same time, even his pursuit of revenge is inspired by Griffith, for whenever he falters and thinks of retiring to peace, he's reminded that his leader would oppose those who opposed his dream with his heart, body, and soul. Guts' true dream is to get revenge on the man he once looked up to, no matter how many times he says otherwise.
Disagreed to. Guts' true dream was just to live a happy life with Casca, which it's been proven because right now he's in a depressive state because she's been taken away from him. So, okay. Alright. 1 second.
And as long as Griffith continues to inform his choices, he'll never be able to touch him. Once that situation changes, however, we're pretty sure Guts could kill at least one God Hand member by himself, if not all 5 of them, especially if Skull Knight backs him up.
Okay. So this video does not do anything to prove that Guts could kill the God Hand. Just because, okay. Alright, how do I break this down? Alright, so first off, again, I'll pull up the information for this video. It is Marvelous Anime. This is the channel's name. Check it out. His channel overall is really good. I like, and I'm going to leave it up here while I talk like this. I like the video, how it is presented overall. He's very good at editing. I'll say, shoots, I could learn some lessons from him personally. And the music and the tone was good, and the way he speaks is really good too. So give his channel a follow if you love Berserk. It seems like he's a lover of Berserk too. But with that, I have to disagree with some things, okay? So Guts cannot kill the God Hand because we've seen what the God Hand is capable of doing, right? I get what he's trying to say is like, hey, he's able to kill higher apostles. I could state, yeah, he is able to higher apostles, but you just talked about how you, Guts, was able to kill the sea god, stabbing its heart and stuff, and he could technically kill Ganeshka, so in some magical world, he's able to then kill the idea of evil, which means he could kill the God Hand. Like, no, you can't, that's like apples and oranges, right? Or in this case, that's comparing, like saying an ant could kill an elephant, right? Maybe a group of them, right? But one ant against an elephant, unless the elephant is highly allergic to ants, I don't see how that's going to happen. But let me explain, right? So he talks about the fact that Guts was able to kill the sea god and he could kill Ganeshka, and then the idea of evil, right? You can't even bring up the idea of evil because that chapter was a moot point. The chapter doesn't even exist in the story, so you can't even use that, right? But let's say we're going to use it. For the sake of argument, we're going to use the chapter. The idea of evil is an astral being, right? And we see the powers of astral beings. We saw he Slain or Slan, whatever her name is, right? Slain, Slain. I would say Slain. She gave herself flesh with the mole intestines and stuff, and Guts ran his sword through her, and she literally had an orgasm on that sword. So, needless to say, the rules for the God Hand members definitely seem different. You want more facts of that? Well, another fact is Griffith Femto literally catch the sword swing of Skull Knight's sword that could cut through reality. He caught the the sword swing, whatever you want to call it, the blade of cutting dimensions. Griffith was able to catch that. So if a sword that could cut through reality can't even hurt Femto, the God Hand member, and Skull Knight is able to kill many apostle and minor demons with that sword, how is Dragon Slayer going to cut through a God Hand member? And we saw recently in recent chapters what happened when Guts tried to defend against Griffith taking Casca. He couldn't even stop him, and he didn't even transform. He was in basic boy form. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, so needless to say, what I'm trying to say in a respectful manner, because I like this guy's video, and again, go check out his original video on his channel, please. Guts is a far cry from killing any God Hand members. As a matter of fact, I don't think he has what it takes to do anything the way he's being written right now. I'll be surprised if he's able to even fight demons the way he did in these previous chapters, because the way how Guts is acting right now is definitely unlike Guts in any way, shape, or form I've seen, and twisting it so it doesn't look so awkward. Yeah, and I just don't think he's capable of doing anything other than trying to get through his PTSD and his depression, right? As far as how it might be possible based on what he's saying, well, he's not wrong when he said that, you know, Guts is able to fight higher level apostle beings. So maybe through the evolution of fighting beings like that, maybe eventually Dragon Slayer evolves into something that can maybe possibly do something, but I don't think it's at this stage yet. And you know, these two bigger apostles, Ganeshka and then the Sea God, right? Ganeshka got utilized as a world tree. The Sea God died, right? But it is possible that these beings, since we're using the idea of evil that, you know, hasn't been introduced in this series yet, maybe these beings are just pieces of the idea of evil itself, right? Because at the end of the day, we still don't know a lot about the world of Berserk, right? We could all theorize and stuff, but I just don't see Guts in his current state, with his current weaponry, being able to effectively handle or dispatch any God Hand member. They're just too powerful. Literally, Void could teleport anywhere, any place, anytime. There's one who grew big and then made itself small. Slain, same thing. Like, Femto literally hasn't been touched by a weapon shoots ever. Like, unless he stepped on it. Count, if you want to count stepping on a weapon being touched by one, sure, I guess. These beings are gods, literal, right? So I don't think. All right, let me. Unless I'm really critically thinking of this, because I don't want to just dismiss everything he says in this video. But the only thing I could say, right, is that the Dragon Slayer will be the key to dispatching the God Hand member at some point eventually, because the Dragon Slayer has killed over 1,000 monsters and demons, or whatever you want to call them, apostles, whatever. And it has soaked up enough blood. Plus, with the Sea God, it soaked up super apostle, if you want to call it a higher level apostle blood. Like, because we talk about Ganeshka. Ganeshka was considered to be a higher level apostle. So much so he controlled other apostles and stuff like that. This Sea God, similar thing, it was able to absorb humans and make them into servants, and it controlled other people and stuff. So, in those regards, yes, the Dragon Slayer has become more powerful, but a weapon that could literally kill people, I mean, God Hand members, I just don't see it just yet. Can it be evolved to do something like that? Maybe utilizing something that could also cut through the astral realm, cut through dimensions, like Skull Knight's sword. Maybe a fusion of the two weapons, possibly. Maybe something with the Behelit that Guts has on his person the whole time. Maybe through the actions. And I didn't even think about that. Holy crap. You know what? Best theory ever. I'm about to drop how Guts is going to kill the God Hand, right? This is just a wild theory. But here we go. the behelit Guts had from day one, right? We know Griffith had the emperor, the behelit of the king, right? The red behelit that transformed into a God Hand member. Guts had a, let's say Guts had a regular behelit, but through killing apostles, being soaked in apostle blood, through all the meetings with different apostles and different apostle-like beings being fed the the energies of these apostles being bathed in the sea god's blood, right? Oh, this thing sounds nice. I should use this mic more often. But anyway, with all the soaking of the blood being around the dragon slayer, soaking up all that negativity and stuff, the behelit is getting ripe and ready to hatch and evolve Guts into the being, the entity, or the monster in which, in which he becomes the being that could stop the God Hand. That's what I see. That's what is probably going to happen, and that's the only way. Guts, as he is right now, cannot defeat the God Hand, and that's my final statement on this. I like the guy's video. Definitely, you know what? I'm not subscribed yet. Look, what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to subscribe to this channel, so you guys should do too, because honestly, if I'm going to watch this content and make a video on it and then put it on my channel, hey man, I'm the Shadow Teacher 1, or you could call me DNR Anime Theory. I'm going to upload it in a second. But yeah, definitely check out this video. It was pretty good. It was made July 2nd, 2024. I just watched the end, and you can see it's 26 minutes long, but let's finish it up and give it a like too. Boom. See? Because, hey, it was a good video overall. I disagree with you completely, though.
Marvelous verdict. But that's what we think based on our over-analysis of what was, in our opinion, the most important fight in Berserk. What do you guys think? Was Guts versus the Sea God just a big setup for the...
You see, I can't deal. Most important fight in Berserk was when he put on that Berserker armor. Are you crazy? Hey, okay, hey. You're strike 2. One ball, I push it a thumbs up. I'm just joking. All right. Anyways, this is me, the Shadow Teacher 1. I hope you guys like and enjoy this video. If you like videos like this, let me know, and I could do more review and reaction videos based on different theory videos and stuff like that. And I'll make sure and shout out the creator and make sure to subscribe to them and like the video, regardless if you agree with it or disagree, because it takes a lot of time and effort to make a video like this, especially 26 minutes long. And hey, again, Marvelous Anime, thank you for the good watch, and I hope you get more subscribers. Take care.